I the asshole for breaking up with my boyfriend over this? I, 23M, broke up with my boyfriend, 25M, of 2 years last night, and now I'm wondering if I overreacted. My cousin, 29F, just got married to her wife, 28F, in a beautiful ceremony. They're the first queer couple in our family to get married, and it meant a lot to me personally. Growing up, I didn't even know if I'd be allowed to be out, let alone see two women I love and admire stand up and be celebrated like that. My boyfriend, we'll call him Zach, came with me. He's met most of my family before, and everything seemed fine. During the reception, things got emotional. A few people gave unplanned toasts, and my cousin asked if I wanted to say something. I kept it short. I just said how proud I was of them, and how beautiful it was to see queer love honored like that. That was it. When I sat down, Zach leaned over and quietly whispered, "You know, for someone who's not even in the wedding, you're really trying to make it your moment." I thought he was joking and gave him a look. Then he added, "You gonna cry again or save it for our wedding that we're never having?" He smirked like it was nothing. I laughed awkwardly because I didn't want to cause a scene and ruin my cousin's wedding. But it stuck with me. I didn't say anything right away because it wasn't the time or place. I didn't want to make the night about me or create any drama. Later, back at our hotel, I brought it up. I told him his comment hurt, especially since he knows how much this wedding meant to me. He brushed it off and said, "Jesus, you're still on that? It was a joke. You were getting so sappy I thought you were going to propose." I told him I didn't think it was funny. I said he'd taken a moment that mattered to me and made me feel stupid for caring. He kept calling me sensitive and said I was overthinking everything, like always. So I told him I was done. I packed my stuff, called a friend, and left. He's texted me since, saying I made a scene out of nothing, that I chose a weird hill to die on, that I'll regret throwing away a good thing over a dumb joke. Now I'm sitting here wondering if I overreacted. Am I the asshole? Would I be the asshole for repeatedly telling someone that she eats babies? When my partner, 58M and I, 41M, ordered veal, a friend of his, 69F, said she wouldn't be having the veal because she doesn't eat babies. After the three of us got our meals, she again announced that she doesn't eat veal or lamb because she doesn't eat babies, and then went on to enjoy her chicken. I like the veal, but her remark was untimely, to say the least. She visited a few months later, and for some reason I can't remember, she announced her stance again, even though we weren't having lamb or veal. Later, when my partner said she would be visiting again, I decided to do some research. I discovered that chickens are killed younger than lambs and calves raised for meat, both in absolute terms and as a proportion of their natural lifespan. Lo and behold, at an afternoon gathering with various other people, a wedding menu was being discussed, and she proclaimed, "I don't eat babies." I said, "But you eat chicken." "So?" "They're only around 6 weeks old when they're slaughtered for meat." "No, they're not. They're fully grown." "That's because of how they're bred and fed." "I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Shut up." I shut up so I wouldn't cause more of a scene. Months go by and she visits again. I swear her "I don't eat babies" stance must be core to her identity. Because, I kid you not, she announces it again. I'm seething inside, but I don't say anything. I can't seem to let this go. She says it in a way that, to me, comes across as morally superior, which I could possibly tolerate if I believed it were true. Here's what I want to do, and would I be the asshole for doing it? Next time she visits, I want to say with authority, you either stop eating chicken, or you stop saying you don't eat babies. If you continue doing both, you're a liar. Would I be the asshole for asking my therapist to stop driving during our sessions? I used to have therapy over Zoom. One day my Wi-Fi was terrible, so we switched to a phone call instead. I actually ended up preferring the phone sessions, but during one of them, I kept hearing clicking noises in the background. Then I realized my therapist was driving. I'd noticed delayed responses, and every now and then he'd mutter things under his breath about other drivers. Eventually I asked, "Are you driving right now?" He said, "Yeah, I want to beat rush hour traffic." Now I'm wondering if I'd be wrong for asking him not to drive during our sessions so he can actually focus on our conversation. I'm paying him $375 a session. Would I be the asshole? Am I the asshole for yelling at a couple to shut up during a movie? Tonight, my partner and I went to see The Backrooms. We got there just as the movie started, settled into our seats, and started watching. About 30 to 45 minutes into the movie, a couple came in and sat right next to us. Normally, I don't care if people arrive late because I've done it before too. The problem was the amount of noise they made. They were constantly rustling food wrappers, throwing things around, and talking to each other almost nonstop for about 15 minutes. The woman kept burping loudly between conversations. They were only half whispering, but in a quiet theater, it was incredibly obvious. She also kept pointing at the screen saying, "Ooh, ooh, look at that," during completely normal scenes. Then she'd loudly kiss her boyfriend. After putting up with it for around 20 minutes, I finally snapped. I turned to them and said, "Are you two going to keep talking? Or can you shut the fuck up? It's extremely distracting." They just stared at me. Then they didn't say another word for the rest of the movie. So, mission accomplished. I know I probably shouldn't have sworn, but at a certain point, it's ridiculous how some people have absolutely no consideration for everyone else around them. They're the same kind of people who cut you off in traffic while staring at their phones. Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for asking to relax for 10 minutes before making my postpartum wife breakfast? For some background, we had a baby just 1 week ago. Before the birth, we agreed that she'd take her maternity leave first, then I'd take mine once hers ends. That way we'd get more time at home with the baby. Right now, I'm taking care of our 4-year-old pretty much 100% of the time. I'm making his meals, doing bath time, taking him to summer camp, and handling everything he needs. I don't mind because I was already his primary caregiver before this, since my job gives me more flexibility. On top of that, I'm doing all the household chores like laundry, dishes, and cooking. Anytime the baby needs a diaper change, I'm on it. I'm helping with the baby as much as I can too. Honestly, I feel like I'm doing a lot, but I'm not complaining. I'm just in dad mode. I even spent Father's Day giving my wife a chance to sleep while I took both kids out to run errands and buy groceries. The biggest issue is that I work from home. My wife has never really treated my work hours like actual work. I'm constantly asked to do things around the house or for her during the day. I try to help because I do have some flexibility, but I'm still working. Even before the baby, if our 4-year-old was sick or had the day off, I was always expected to stop working because, in her eyes, I was already home. One thing we argue about a lot is that she micromanages everything I do. I'm exhausted by it. Apparently, I hold the baby wrong. I picked the wrong shoes for our son. I should drive in a different lane. I don't even park the car correctly. It feels like I can't do anything without being told there's a better way. This morning, I made oatmeal for everyone while getting our son ready. He ate. I brought my wife a bowl. Then I took him to camp. When I got back, I went straight to work because I was already behind. I even had to take a work call from my laptop in the car outside the house because I couldn't make everyone wait while I got set up inside. By the time the call ended, about 2 hours had passed since she'd eaten. I went upstairs to check on her and the baby. I wasn't on lunch or taking a break. I just had about 20 minutes between work and wanted to lie down with them for a bit. Babies are cute. She asked if I could make her an omelette because she wanted some protein. I said, sure. Can I just chill with you guys for 10 minutes first? She nodded. I was just lying there, looking at the baby, when about 2 minutes later, she asked in an annoyed voice, can you make it now? I got up, a little frustrated, and made the omelette. That turned into a huge fight. I tried to give her some grace because she just had a baby. I stayed calm, didn't argue, and made her a really good omelet with spinach, ham, and cheese. When I brought it upstairs, she got angry and said she didn't want it anymore and told me to throw it away. I brought it back downstairs, didn't say a word, saved it instead of throwing it out, did the dishes, and went back to work. It just didn't feel like a battle worth fighting. About an hour later, she came downstairs. I offered her the omelet since I'd saved it for her. She told me I was an asshole, said she'd already made herself food, and told me I never had to make her food again because, in her words, you obviously didn't want to. When I tried to talk about what happened, it turned into me always being the victim and being too sensitive. Am I the asshole for telling my husband I don't want to be involved with his dying mother's medical problems anymore? My mother-in-law is 68. She's a former meth addict and still drinks heavily. She used to go through about 2 gallons of vodka a week. Now she says she's cut back, but she still drinks more than 10 beers every night. She doesn't think that's a problem. She also smokes around 2 packs of cigarettes a day. She was born with a heart defect and has already had 2 open heart surgeries. Honestly, it's amazing she's still alive. Back in March of last year, her doctors estimated she had 6 months to a year left to live. It's now been over a year, and she's still here. She refuses hospice. She's had several close calls with death, but somehow always pulls through. Today, my husband called and asked if I could pick her up and take her to the hospital. I did it because I love my husband. I've never really gotten along with my mother-in-law. I don't hate her. She's a wonderful grandmother, but she's said and done things to me that I can't really forgive. She also drank heavily, used drugs, and smoked throughout her pregnancy with my husband. She has absolutely no remorse about it. She laughs and says she had the best time of her life. At the hospital, the doctors diagnosed her with pancreatitis. They kept asking about her alcohol use. She immediately got annoyed. They explained that her condition was a direct result of her lifestyle. She didn't want to hear it. She started snapping at everyone. She complained that she never should have come because now she had to stay in the hospital for 24 to 48 hours. She only wanted something to make the pain go away. Watching her get angry at the doctors for telling her the truth, honestly, disgusted me. So I left. Later, I told my husband I don't want to be bothered anymore with his mother's medical issues. The doctors basically said the same thing. They can't help someone who refuses to help herself. She cries about dying, but gets angry whenever anyone explains why. She's never taken responsibility for any of it. After more than 20 years of dealing with this, I just don't have any empathy left. For some extra context, I would never stop my husband from being there for his mother. I told him a long time ago that this situation was becoming too much for me, and he agreed it was okay for me to step back. There have been times when I didn't visit my in-laws for an entire year, not even for holidays. It's how I protect my own peace. I also struggle with anxiety and depression and had a nervous breakdown about 10 years ago. If I can avoid unnecessary drama, I do. My husband understands that, and I understand why he still wants to be there for his mom. Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for telling my girlfriend to start looking for another job before her contract ends? My girlfriend's work contract ends in about 2.5 months. I suggested she start looking for another job now, just in case her current employer doesn't renew her contract. Instead of appreciating the suggestion, she got upset. She told me I was filling her with anxiety by bringing it up and said she hadn't even been thinking about a backup plan. We live in a city where there's a lot of competition for jobs. I figured it would be smart to have a plan B. She took that as me not believing in her abilities and even called me feminine because I supposedly wasn't okay with her being unemployed for several months. The thing is, I never said that. I wasn't telling her she was going to lose her job. I was just trying to be practical. Recruiters have always told me the best time to find a new job is while you already have one. She says I'm pressuring her and that I underestimated her. I thought I was just trying to help. Am I the asshole? Asshole for refusing to change my job because of my ex's new commute? My ex-girlfriend and I split up 7 years ago. We have a daughter together, and I also have 2 daughters from a previous relationship. We've both moved on with our lives. I'm getting married in about 18 months. She got engaged last Christmas. We also share custody of our daughter 50-50. On the days I have my daughter, I take her to school and pick her up afterward. On my ex's days, she handles everything. To make that work, I leave work early some days and arrive late on others. Thankfully, my employer has been incredibly understanding. As long as I make the hours up, they're happy. Usually that means being available on weekends for emergencies. It's not ideal, but it works. Recently, my ex accepted a job 100 miles away. Her plan is to commute every single day. Personally, I think it's a terrible idea. But not my monkey, not my circus. Originally, she'd arranged for her dad to take our daughter to school and pick her up on her custody days. It sounded like a good solution, but after doing it for a while, reality set in. He realized his own life now revolved around the school run. The novelty wore off, and he told her he couldn't keep doing it. Now she doesn't have anyone else to help. So she came to me. She wants me to start working from home 3 or 4 days a week so I can handle the school runs on her days too. The problem is, that's simply not an option with my job. I told her I couldn't make those changes. Now she's accusing me of still being bitter about our breakup. She says I'm trying to sabotage her career because I can't let go of the past. From my point of view, she chose to take a job 100 miles away. I didn't. Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for refusing to become my mom's power of attorney because I won't support my unemployed brother? My mom wants my brother and me to be co-powers of attorney. I told her no, for some background. My adult brother hasn't worked in years. He lives with my mom, spends all day in his room watching TV and playing video games, and has no income. Meanwhile, I live out of state and have built my own life. I've been on my own for over 20 years. The biggest issue is that my mom has always enabled him. He's the golden child. I'm the scapegoat. I don't get along with either of them because of his arrogance and the way my mom treats me. I don't want to be financially or legally tied to either of them. So I told my mom I wouldn't be her power of attorney, her caregiver, or the executor of her estate. I told her to hire a third-party professional to handle everything instead. I even sent it to her in both an email and a text message so there wouldn't be any confusion. Now, my family is turning against me. They keep saying that because I'm the oldest, it's automatically my responsibility. One relative even told me I should quit my government job, the one where I have seniority, a pension, and retirement benefits, move back in with my mom and my unemployed brother, and spend my life taking care of both of them. I blocked every one of them, their phone numbers, their Facebook accounts, everyone. These days, I only speak to my mom once a week because of the constant guilt trips and harassment. She has early-stage dementia, but I've already told her that if she refuses to appoint a third-party power of attorney, then the state can handle her affairs instead. I don't speak to my brother at all. I refuse to enable him. I'm not giving up my independence or the life I've spent decades building to clean up a situation that my mom and my brother created. I've made my boundaries clear. I won't move in with them. I won't become their caregiver. And I will never financially support my brother. Am I the asshole? So, which story was your favorite? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed today's stories, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another episode. And if you have any crazy Reddit stories you'd like to see featured, let us know in the comments. Now click the video on your screen for another crazy Reddit story. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.